Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Vexility, Science Yoshi, how's it going? Word of the day. Meteorologically. Yeah, I can agree with that. It's snowing where I'm at. And it is so freaking cold. Bill Cipher Eats McDonald's. Awesome username. What's up? Welcome in. How's it going? So, we have just got started here pretty much. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do today necessarily. I thought about just doing maybe some general dev tasks, I guess, because there's a few things that I haven't done yet that I've just been kind of putting off, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do today. So I'm probably going to be working on some various menus and stuff like that today, I think. So that's kind of the play for the day. Justin Harry. I'm doing pretty good. Who is this? This is Journoid. What's up? Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Preparing to do an all-nighter tomorrow. Interesting, interesting. How's stream going? It just started, actually. We have just started. So we are gonna get started with a few small things. I think I'm thinking what I'll probably end up doing is fixing up the player menu first. Either player or settings menu, I'm not really sure. Do I stream daily or weekly? I typically do certain weekdays. Like, right now the schedule is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Typically at 2:30 Eastern to about 5 Eastern, roughly. But today's play is probably going to be redoing some menu-related things that I've just been putting off for a little bit. Basically, I need to do a player menu that is not really, really annoying and slow. So, that's probably what we're going to go for today. Undoing all this spaghetti code. Like your model, did you make it yourself? Yes, I did. All the assets you see on stream are made custom by me. So, what does the menu look like? I guess I actually will have to open demo 4 to show it off. I can do that real quick after I fix up the stream playlist here because it's on repeat still. There we go. Let me pull demo 4 in real quick to show it off because I know it's busted right now in demo 5. So, see, I've heard this one before, and it's actually against the chat rules to be advertising stuff like that. So, don't know if you caught that one, but no, thanks. I'm not interested. Let me actually get demo 4 up here on screen real quick. I'll have to add it into the viewport real quick. Such a niche streamer. That's so true, actually. And I'm gonna do this properly. Let me hide my viewport real quick so I can add some things in. And let's get a YouTube boss. Get demo 4. There we go. I'll just slap it in here. It doesn't really need to be in the viewport. So, I mean, I guess that didn't really matter. But, are we good there? Okay. Let me pause this stream audio real quick. Or the music. But essentially, the menu in question did look like this. This is the existing menu that I'm going to be changing today. Basically, right now this doesn't work in demo 5 for various reasons, but no one really used this menu to swap characters since this menu exists, like the little quick swap menu. So, I wanted to fix this up a little bit and instead have it like more streamlined to show, well, I guess you can't see my mouse, but over on the left you can see the character stats, and then on the right you can see their strength and weaknesses. So, I wanted to kind of streamline that and make it easier to understand, and also like give kind of maybe a bio of the character. I don't really know. Basically, there's not much room on this menu. There's room, but it's unused room. There's a lot of just like wasted space, like there in the center and over on the right and everything like that. Like, so I wanted to fix that up and make it look nicer, I guess. So that's kind of the idea. If not that menu, it'll be the options menu, which is actually just broken in demo 5 right now because it tries to load like old control scheme things. Like, well, I guess you can't rebind controls when you're in the game, but essentially it's broken. Item menu works. Info menu works to an extent, but it's kind of troll. So I want to fix it a little bit. Quest menu is the same way. Achievement menu also the same way. Smoothie menu, actually, the smoothie menu might be broken. I don't know. Runes menu is a thing that exists too that I need to do. Make it look nice. As well as the map. So, I mean, nothing like locked in, set in stone yet on what I'm gonna do, but ideally, I just get something done today because I'm just kind of feeling like, oh, like I'm locked out of it today. If 3-hour stream incoming. If anything, it'll probably be like a shorter than usual stream because I don't know. I don't know if it's where I woke up real early this morning or what, but I'm just kind of I'm low key out of it today. It's kind of troll, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. We'll see how it goes. So, anyways, enough of the demo 4 yapping. Let me not click stop streaming thinking I'm recording out of habit. And then let's get stream music back in. Also, oh, I gotta unhide the viewport. I also put out a poll in the Discord earlier today to kind of get an idea of what times people would be interested in watching a stream. Currently, or not what times, but like how long of a stream, and currently it's sitting around the usual 2.5 hours, which honestly works fine for me, if I'm being completely honest, because that's about how much stream I have in me on a given day. Because I mean, I attempted to do those longer streams where like a few days this week, actually, I streamed for like 4 hours, and that, I'll be honest, that kind of takes a lot out of me. Like, it's quite a bit. Not to say that I don't like doing the longer streams. It's more just like, once I've been sitting here and yapping for, say, 3.5 hours, I start to kind of decline in my speech and stuff like that. Now, I could maybe do it for gaming streams, I guess. Like, you know, I put out the poll in the Discord earlier this week about, or maybe it was last week, I don't remember exactly. Like, hey, what kind of game playthrough would you guys like to see first? And the winner of that was Paper Mario. So we're going to start a playthrough of the Paper Mario series soon, I think. So we'll see. Good afternoon, Warrior of Light. I am doing pretty good today. How are you doing? This is the old one here. These two are old. I'm going to move them over to a second column. I'm going to like base some things off of this. So one thing is like, I do want to simplify this code, make it slightly more efficient. Good, just working, but we'll be done in a few hours. Well, hopefully I can be some decent, you know, background noise for you during your work. So, I don't know. In the demo 4 menu, there was like those little player badges, kind of, like, where it showed, basically their multiplayer icon. And I don't know if I want to keep that because it takes up a lot of screen real estate. Like I could technically open up Aseprite and do like some concept art stuff, but I don't know if I entirely want to do that. because concept art is LOL sometimes. But I mean, I could also just wing it. Like I said, I kind of started this stream like with a loose goal in mind, so there's gonna be, this might just be like a lot of planning and not much other stuff. And I don't think you guys can hear it. Hopefully you can, but like my dogs are barking too, which doesn't really help the concept of needing to lock in and think about things. Also, drink of the day today is Pib Extra. I had a Dr. Pepper earlier, but now we're on Pib zone. Oh yeah, they always want attention. Thankfully, the two behind me are being quiet, but one of them that's upstairs, he's been barking all morning. So my limbs hurt from playing badminton too much. Ooh. I like to occasionally go and play tennis. Every once in a while, me and one of my friends, or maybe my younger brother, will go and we'll play tennis, and that's a workout. I get it. Been there, done that. So I think the first thing I'm gonna need to do here is actually, I'm gonna need to get into the language file. We're gonna need to add some extra things in here, extra keys. So let me just, where's menus? Let's do, oh, I should also probably like zoom this stuff in since I'm streaming. I forget about that. Might hop off soon. I got school tomorrow. Hey, that's fair. Chase that. I guess if you're in grade school, chase that diploma. If you're in college, chase that degree. Same difference, I guess. Depends on who you ask. Chase those grades. There's a what would you call it? Like a education agnostic view of it. I don't know if that's the right way you'd word that. Like something like that. But anyhow, we're gonna go with, we're gonna need to add some keys in here. Menu, players, stats, I think. And we'll say just this. We'll do apostrophe S. Because before this, there will always be a player name. And that should be fun. In the off chance that I'm doing all this work for a real reason and that my game gets localized in the future, then I guess that localizers can complain to me about it if it's a problem, and I'll just make changes. So let's say menu, players, weak, weaknesses, strengths, and we'll need a description for each character. Yui, Kaguya, Autumn, Hector. I'm actually gonna like full screen this right now to make it a little bit easier to work with. So, did anything special happen last stream? Technically, like I accidentally spoiled something and then I had to clip it out of the streams. So that happened. But thankfully, the one person who did catch it, they DM'd me and were like, hey, was this intentional? And I was like, no, it wasn't. Thank you for sharing. I mean, what clip? Like, what clip? I didn't see anything, but... Shoutouts to that person. I won't draw attention to them, but if you're watching, you know who you are, and thank you. So anytime we have a string and we put this in there, it's going to replace it with the player's name. Plays too much demo 5. I wish. The game's like borderline unplayable, and it's been unplayable for months. It's only just now getting to the point where it's like you can play through the prologue, and you still can't, by the way. Like, you get soft locked at the first instance of the rhythm game because I'm in the process of reworking that. But the rhythm game takes a lot of brain power to actually fix, because I was migrating it to a faster system that's less prone to issues, and like, oh, it's just all such a headache because I want this game to be able to run decently on older systems. But I mean, hopefully it'll get appreciated when it comes down to it. Hopefully. So, okay. Let's say it's Yui, it's Kaguya, it's Autumn, it's Hector. And then we'll come up with some descriptions here for them. So I gotta think about what kind of information I actually want to share to the player here. Like, there needs to be a reason for the description, I guess. I thought about maybe just copying the level up descriptions, because that could just fit here and work. I'm not quite sure. Need to sleep. Gotcha. Well, good night, Vexility. I hope you enjoyed what little bit of stream you did get to see. I hope you have a excellent night, and you are rested well for the day ahead. You know, I also slightly debated on starting the playthrough of Paper Mario today, but I think I might do that. I might do that next week, because another thing I talked about in the Discord was if I can think of words with my mind, was making a schedule, like an actual proper schedule, and trying to adhere to that instead of it just being like, hey, stream's gonna be like 15 minutes late today, lol, I'll be there soon. But like, and then having days like today where it's like, I don't really know what I'm gonna do. So I like to have like a set time that I'm gonna be streaming in between, give or take 15 minutes, and what I'm gonna be doing that day. It's just something I haven't, like, I want to sit down and make a graphic for it, and I need to actually make sure that I could adhere to that plan. So actually, what kind of description do I want? I might not even need a description in this menu. I guess I need to like look back and think, like, what do I actually want out of this menu specifically? Because I'm honestly not too sure. I really just need somewhere that you can see the overall stats of your party at a glance, essentially. Like, it's either HP, AP, attack, defense, speed, moxie, level, XP, and if they have strengths or weaknesses. They don't necessarily need to... You don't need to be able to swap characters in this menu, because that's actually historically been prone to problems in the game. I'm not quite sure. Let me think here. Maybe we don't need a description. I'll leave this in here just in case I change my mind, but I don't think we need a description. But we do need to bake stats. So let's do this. Repeat. Actually, do this first and say we're going to go through all the characters. Their max size. Actually, we don't need this to be a variable. Let's make this permanent. 0. If get party member data let's say this. We're going to see, is this party member in use? If this party member is in use, we're going to increase our max size and we're going to do some things here. So I can actually just take this stuff and say, okay, well, this at max size, because this will start at 0, this will start at the entry point, and this is only going to increase after the fact. We're going to say, okay, all of this stuff, get that from the current player. And do things with it. Is this actually making a string out of this? Yeah, it is. Okay, so maybe I don't want to do it this way. I don't think I want to do it this way, but we will do... Let's see. We can do this. Is that right? I'm going to zoom this code out just a smidge. I think this will bake correctly. I'm going to do the same with AP. AP is there. Get AP, get AP. Can it not reference that in here? Or maybe it's because there's an equal sign. Just comment this. Came back into stream and it was silent. Thought my phone froze. Oh no. Whoops. Rare moment where I'm not yapping. Attack, defense, speed, moxie, XP, level. Okay. Attack, defense, speed, moxie, XP, level. Yes, I actually did. I did get the survey filled out. I actually intentionally delayed it a little bit so that way I could better answer some of the questions about Blessing Boat after I had some more streams since then. So... but I did fill it out. And again, thank you for letting me participate in that. It was very, very fun. Gotcha, gotcha. What order does this go in here? Okay, that's fine, because this is not gonna, like, cause weirdness with it. Don't keep us a secret. Nah, I didn't plan on it. Didn't plan on it. You know, actually, this might just be, it might just be easier to, instead of doing this, let's just get all the player stats. Because why not? We're going to use them, and this is negligible for performance, I would think. Just go ahead and bake all the stats when we make this menu. And then... What else will we need here? Let me check the old one here. Strengths, weaknesses, we got stats. Oh, and we need a name. Okay, so... Get name. I'm just gonna duplicate this line. Do strength, weakness. Strength, weakness. Get those. What is this stored as? This gets returned as an array, so that's good. Okay. That's fine. So name, strength, weakness, all the stats. Let me just go through, and this should just... Like, this is a negligible performance impact, since we're baking it, like, right when we make this menu. I don't think I have to worry too much about, you know, just baking some strings. Surely not. Surely not. Now, if I was doing this every frame, maybe, but we're not. This is just initializing everything. February, we might have kids who make games. Should be interesting. Yeah, that... It's always interesting to see, like, younger people getting started with something that you're, like... I guess, I'm not... I don't really want to say that I'm, like, a professional or anything, but I'm educated enough in... Right? It's always neat to see, like, the up-and-coming, as well as, like, the prodigies, I guess, is what I'd say. So now I guess, this one comes down to just, like, general game design stuff here. If you were, like, tabbing through a menu of characters, would you want the menu to automatically display the stats for that character, or would you rather it only display the stats if you select that character? Because I'm kind of leaning towards, like... At first, I was like, okay, you know, maybe we do the selection stuff. But... I think it might actually be better to just have it automatically update. Because there's not going to be any incentive to clicking into the menu, necessarily, if you're just, like, looking at character stats. Yeah, it does make it easier to glance at stats. They're working on it for the next 6 weeks. We'll need some streamers to stream their games. More details will be coming soon on the Blessing Boat server. Gotcha, gotcha. I'll keep an eye out for it. So I'll actually just leave this as is then. We only need this, and then we're going to do another loop here. I'm going to put this up here. Do you have any local faith-based radio stations you would recommend? I'm done and tired of American Family Radio and have already covered most of the Way Media and EMF Foundation radio stations. So this is actually like a crazy question, but I think I might have an answer. I actually do have one faith-based radio station that I listen to. Of course, I do listen to it online because I'm not close enough to one of the regular, like, FM radio stations for it, like rebroadcasts of it. But I like to use the Bible Broadcasting Network, or BBN. BBN Radio. I do like to listen to them occasionally, and it's just like, it's hymns, it is older sermons, and it is occasional like prayer hours. They have like they have a kids block on there too, with a little kids radio drama. They do some adult radio dramas too, and not like, when I say adult radio dramas, I don't mean like, obviously I don't mean like rated R type stuff or anything like that, but I mean like just more faith-based ones geared at adults that deal with like heavier topics and such. That would be my recommendation there, actually. LTN Radio is also available as an app now. I'm not familiar with LTN Radio. It's on your radar, but looking at going west. I think they have, I think they are primarily East Coast, because on the online version of it, they mention, like, I think it's hosted in Charlotte, North Carolina, so it would be East Coast, but they do like have rebroadcast stations and whatnot, and of course the online, and that's what I use. So this actually drops down on the amount of code needed in that event by a lot, because like there's quite a bit of stuff in here, but a lot of stuff we don't necessarily need anymore. Maybe we do. Party dot. We'll do AP color, I think, for the menu backgrounds. I might actually have to launch the game to see how that looks. I need a slight reminder on what colors I use, because I need to like visualize it in my mind. Love thy nerd. Love thy nerd. I might have to look into that. I'm unfamiliar with it, but it sounds interesting. Have I not compiled the game this morning? I thought I did. Maybe I haven't, because it's going to take a minute, I bet. First compile always takes a few seconds, because it has to go through and convert all the audio files if it's not in cache. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Slowly but surely. You may like Radio U and or Z883. They both offer good music. You got a metal channel, rock, and hip-hop that is Christian. Interesting. See, the strange thing about me, maybe it's not strange, but like, Just rather like a quirk of mine is that I actually just really love hymns, which is why I lean so heavily towards the BBN radio, because that's all they do is hymns. And I think that's pretty neat. But that's just a me thing though. I recognize that other people don't care for hymns the same way I do, so okay, so we have dark green, yellow, light green, or acid green, pink, and light blue. Or we have red, blue, purple, orange, dark blue. I think maybe doing I think I might use the HP color instead of the AP color, now that I'm looking at it here closer. Hymns are good. Abiding radio you might like also. Mostly hymns. Awesome. Hello, hello. Welcome in. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. We'll change this to the health color. Do HP color there. That's what the background color will be. Yes, I am making a game. I am developing a platformer RPG rhythm game. And currently I'm working on a menu to see all of your party members' stats at a glance. We're gonna actually see which of these. I think I need the standard draw event for this too. Maybe not. Thanks, I appreciate it. One of these changes the color here. Yeah, this one. So I will need to steal this code out. Do that, and then a new one in the step event. Oh, I was putting this in the step event, wasn't I? Well, that doesn't belong here. I was talking about like, oh yeah, I'm not doing this every frame, but I was in fact doing this every frame. Now I'm not doing this every frame. Just done listening to anything from Focus on the Family and AFR for dramas. I use Keys for Kids Radio, and they've been a huge thing for radio dramas. I just wish Adventure and Odyssey was not done by Focus on the Family. Is there like anything specific for why you don't like Focus on the Family? Because I actually kind of liked listening to the Adventures and Odyssey things, if I'm being honest. Am I streaming on Twitch or YouTube? I'm actually streaming to both. I stream to Twitch, and I have 2 YouTube streams, a widescreen and a shorts version. You can actually view the widescreen version or the Twitch from the description of the short. So I have 3 streams running currently, and they're all pointing to the same thing, and my chats are all combined. I don't like to favor one over the other, so they all get precedence on the stream. W Mans, yes. Yes, sir. So what I'm doing right here is just making, I'm putting in some code for our menu. Essentially it says, hey, we can't go over a certain amount and we can't go under a certain amount. So we can't go below 0 because then it'll crash. We can't go above the length of how many characters we have because then it'll crash. So we're going to tell it to not do that. Input pressed. Up, and this should basically always be player 1, so I'm not worried about this. I don't ever intend on giving a second player control over this menu. I actually don't even need to store this in a variable, I don't think, so. Is it okay if I ask you where you're from? I'm from the USA. Kind of from the South. That's about all I'm willing to say about that. Both AFR and Focus on the Family got really on my nerves after they went after gaming and tabletop games. Oh, I wasn't aware about that. That's very interesting. Well, that does affect my perception of them just a little bit, but I mean, I'd have to see kind of what they said, but I have to imagine it's probably like, oh no, Dungeons and Dragons is going to sweep away your children or something, and it's like, nah, come on, just think about it for just a few seconds, right? Like, not everything's got to be evil. If you see evil in everything, you need to, you know, probably look inward a little bit. Because we were going over this in service recently. It's like, if the light in your eye is like actually light, then you do good, but if it's darkness, then how deep is that darkness? I'm probably butchering the verse a little bit, but like essentially like if you have darkness in you, like, oh, that's gonna be bad. If you have light in you, that's good. See you, man. Thanks for popping in. Hope you enjoyed. Now, I actually haven't played Dungeons and Dragons. It has like it seems interesting. It seems like it'd be really fun, something I'd like to do with my friends, but then again, it's like also the setup and the dungeon mastering and all that stuff is kind of like a lot. So let me see here. Let me dupe this code here. And why do I actually get these? Let's actually just like redo this from scratch here. Used to be a game like D&D called Dragon Raid that was fun. Got AI to actually play it once. It was a decent replay. Interesting. Christian based. Cool, cool. Always very good. You know, I'm pretty anti-AI for the most part. At the very least, the generative stuff. Like, I do recognize that there are some uses for it, but like, as an artist, I don't really rock with the generative AI stuff because of, you know, various reasons, but mainly because a lot of that is like, oh, well, that's like kind of not really my job that is getting taken there, but I've seen a few others that like have just openly posted their art online kind of get like trolled by it. Yeah, like there's definitely some use cases for it. Like I don't get much use out of it because the level of game dev stuff that I'm doing just kind of like is outside of the realm of like any of the the free AI things. Like, I don't know how, like, something like Claude Code or anything like that would work, but I also don't care enough to find out. I like to... part of the fun of programming to me is actually, you know, making, like, the game, not having the machine do it for me. So... Okay, so what we're doing here is we're gonna get the red, green, and blue from whatever color we have set to the background right now. And then we're going to take the color of the character background, like the character's health color, and we're gonna make the color of the background like blend to that kind of smoothly, and then set the color to that. Is this efficient? Not really. Like, I feel like this is kind of troll, but it's also like, I wish I knew the math behind it. I wish I knew the math behind this kind of function here. Like, is this something that's actually really in depth or what? Because, like, just behind the hood, like under the hood, like what's going on here is just what I would want to know. Because if this is like some kind of like square root type of stuff, I don't want to do this. Well, I mean, I guess I could just only make it happen. Actually, I don't like 3 6s being there. Let's make that 3 7s. Very pro AI. I use it for work, but I'm a writer. I recently had to buy a 600 piece of software to help me format my book and improve the spell check. I'm writing Cherokee in my book now, thanks to it. I mean, hey, more power to you. It's just not something that's for me. Like, like I said, I can recognize the use cases. There's a few good ones, but I'm also... I see, like, the majority of it is, like, has been a net negative, especially for people in my profession, I guess. So, I'm not too interested in it. Like, I'm aware of, like, the things that can be done with it and everything. I'm not being willfully ignorant or anything like that. But, like, I've given it a fair shot, realized it's not for me, it's not something I want to mess with. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like, most use I got out of it was asking, I think it was Grok. I asked Grok, like, some of my younger brother's homework questions, and, like, I mean, it seemed to get them right, like, from what we understood. Like, we weren't just like, hey, solve this, but, like, can you explain this problem? Because, you know, you're just kind of cheating yourself out of your education if you use it to replace your thinking. That's the way I look at it. But, and it's like, well, this, that, and the other. And it's like, well, that seems right. So, I mean, sure, why not? But, oh, I do need a draw GUI event in here. That's what we need. Put that in here. And if we are active, this is when we're gonna do all of our stuff. Drink break. Pib extra. Yo, Sucks Ogre, welcome in. How's it going? I know I got pushback for my Blessing Bolt music album, so I got pushback to do this. Still waiting to get it out. Real people I love, but they do not always meet deadlines. Yeah, that is one downside, I guess, is that, like, you do have to deal with the human aspect of people if you're not using some kind of, like, AI stuff. But I think the human aspect is what makes a lot of stuff really... It's what makes art worth consuming at the end of the day, to me. Wish we had this when we were younger, man. My spelling is bad. Nah, I get you. Like, I do remember back when all the AI stuff was first kind of blowing up with that, I think it was Novel AI was what it was called. Like, I locally cloned that and messed around with it. I was like, oh, this is cool, but like, you know, I don't really see the use in this either. Like, you know, it was cool. It's cool tech. You know, I like tech. I think tech is cool, but I just, it ain't for me. It just ain't for me, realistically. So now that we actually, I think we have the majority of the code that we need in for this. I'll just slap some live checks in here in case we need to change something at runtime here. And then let me switch over to Studio and adjust the viewport thing. I think it's this one that I want. So, let me launch the game real quick. You also saw that NVIDIA is releasing AI that can play games on our behalf, and Sony is also working on this tech. Like, yeah, I mean, I have not seen that. I have not seen that, actually, but, like, what's the point? Like, I really don't understand the point of an AI playing a game for you. Like, am I just old-fashioned, or, like, surely there's, like, something I'm missing, I guess? Like, I could maybe see the appeal of like maybe for play testing or something, right? Like, maybe. And that's a strong maybe. Like, just, you know, if you had like a huge system that could run multiple instances of the game, or like save states, and it just like iterates over and over and over, just a million different kind of inputs, right? Just to like brute force every possible outcome. You know, maybe I could understand it, but it's like, at that point, like, is it not just going to be cheaper to hire playtesters to do things that people might normally do? Isn't the reason of playing a game to actually play the game? Yeah, like, and I know no one sees video games like this, right? Also, I'm gonna pause the stream music real quick to just, actually, wait, hold up. Let me be smart about this. Check this out. Global.bgm volume. Since we're on live code right now, I'll just mute the game. That works. Anyways, I know most people don't see video games like this. Like, the biggest majority don't see video games like this. But at the end of the day, video games are an art form, right? They take all previously existing forms of art, technically, and mash them together. Like, the majority of them. Because it's like, okay, you have music. You have the aspect of, like, performance, like a play would have. You have the art that makes up the game. And on top of that, you get to control it. You get to call the shots. You get to do everything in the game, right? You are an actor in the show. So, like, they sound pretty much like an art, but people just treat them like they're not, I guess. So, I have to go soon, but I do want to see if the backgrounds are pretty before I leave. Yeah, I'm trying to actually get them to work here. So, is this actually doing things? Oh, it is filtering through the colors, but it is not. Oh, because I'm making them all on the red. So let me change that. Red, green, blue. Okay, there we go. So there's a little viewport down there. So main character, Yui, Kaguya, Autumn, and I guess that one would be Hector. Did I not unlock Hector? No, I did unlock Hector. Hold up. Main character. Yui, Kaguya, Autumn. Okay, yeah, I might actually need to make this like that. Don't crash, please. Okay. Main character. Yui, Kaguya, Autumn, Hector. Yeah, okay. There we go. So that's like the color blending right now. I will have like accents for the menus and stuff that come up, like where it's a brighter color instead of just like that, but it's pretty neat. There's the color switching. So there's a guy who created 2 AI characters. See ya, Science Yoshi. Thanks for hopping in. Hope you have a great rest of your day. The guy who created 2 AI characters. They play, chat, have drama, read the... Huh? The something Twitch. The huh? I'm unfamiliar with that, but if we gotta block it out, it's probably not worth knowing, I guess. Tech is amazing, but they swear up a storm. It's quite wild as they get a ton of subs recently. Now, I do know of Neurosama, but like that one's a little bit different because I'm pretty sure the developer of Neurosama is like I think he did all that, like, mostly from the ground up. Like, he runs that locally. Neurosama is, like, a local model of some sort, but I'm not entirely sure on that. But still pretty cool regardless. What's my PC specs? I have a Ryzen 9 7950X, liquid cooled. 64 gigs of DDR5. That's my biggest investment, you know. Got that before the price blow up. And a GTX 1080 for the GPU. So I'm a little behind on that, but hey, she runs and she runs good. On top of that, just mounds of storage, like almost 8 terabytes of storage overall, I think. And what's something else that would be cool spec-wise? 1000-watt PSU, I guess. It's overkill for what I'm using it for right now, but I was future-proofing. So, yes. I specifically got the standard 7950X instead of the 7950X 3D because I heard that performance of the standard was slightly better for workstation use cases as opposed to the 3D, which is better for gaming. And I mean, like, you might be thinking, well, you're a game developer. Why wouldn't you just get the one that's better for gaming so you can see? Yeah, that's the point. I'm a game developer. I want to compile the game faster, not run the game faster. I actually optimize my code, unlike 90% of AAA devs in the year of the Lord 2026, right? I need it to compile the game quickly so I can see how much performance gains I'm getting through my optimizations, not to just throw optimization to the wind and just say, yeah, I want my target audience to have a $5,000 PC to play my game. So I'm going to put in some menu variables here. What I'm going to do next is have when the menu's active, and I guess I can do this here. If active, menu X plus equals, actually, we'll do this. We're not active, then XX is negative 240, YY is negative 480, and then we'll just say menu X plus equals XX minus menu X divided by 7 times delta R. Do the same, but for Y's here. Some neat math to create like a smooth in effect. I use this everywhere, this equation. If I played Dark Souls, Hollow Knight, Elden Ring, I have not. Actually, I've not played any of them. I'm kind of lame when it comes to what video games I do play. So, unfortunately. I'm actually going to open up OBJ menu items. I'm going to open up my items menu here and see what exactly I did here to bring in the player menu. Just what size it was. I might actually need to copy this whole code block here. Well, maybe not the whole thing, but a good chunk of it. Oh, you know, I did just think of something that I'm looking at that code. This needs to be something different. Let's do this, actually. So unusable, but not. Which one is that? Hold on, double check. Locked, use, unused. So these two, 1 or 2. So if array contains good states, this, then we add them in here. How well is GameMaker's workflow? I mean, there's a few clunky things with it, honestly, but for the most part, it's just where they semi-recently were bought out by Opera. So, Yo-Yo Games got bought by Opera, and now it's just like GameMaker as a company, I guess. So they've been improving the engine a lot. It used to be, workflow-wise, it used to be pretty not great, but it's getting a lot better. I'm still using the old code editor that they have because the new one that they are developing, Code Editor 2 as they call it, it's still in beta. It's still a little buggy, but like up here at the top of my screen, you might see we got like, okay, we have create, step, draw GUI, player. Like all this stuff can actually be relegated just to one tab now, and you can just scroll through all of it instead of having to tab through it, which I think is neat. Better color coding, JS doc support, though that might be in it already to an extent with the new code analyzer Feather, which this is new, and it kind of looks through all that and can display things a little bit better. But like overall, I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10 right now. Hopefully it'll be a little bit better once Code Editor 2 is finished, and I mean, maybe even better when the new runtime's done, GMRT. I've been really looking forward to that, mostly for the performance gains. So, but let's see. So I was looking through the menu, the item menu code here, and I forget that there's like this case, like, hey, is this party member locked? So I need to add a check for that in here while I'm thinking about it. The paid user or the pirate one. So the cool thing about GameMaker is all the functionality that you're seeing here is free. Though I did actually buy a license to it back when it was GameMaker Studio 2 instead of just GameMaker. So, I mean, I don't regret the purchase, but I don't think it means anything now, unfortunately. So, because like I kind of had that like I have that mindset where once you've like monetarily invested in something, then it's easier to commit to doing things with it. So no, I did not I did not pirate GameMaker, but you also don't need to, because like the making part, like everything that I'm doing here, you can do on the free version of GameMaker. It's only when you go to release the game, I think, that they're like, hey, buy a license to release commercially, and it's only like $100 USD, which is not bad at all when you think of some of the other things. It does get a little more expensive if you want to do console, because like Enterprise GameMaker, I think it's $800 a year, like it's a subscription thing. And And that's not even counting, like, okay, do you actually have a dev kit for the console you're wanting to release to, or anything like that. So let's put this in here. So this, what this is going to say is like, hey, if our state, we're getting the state of the party member, we're going to look through this short array of like what two states, so I don't have to do two comparison things. Actually, you know, I wonder which would be more efficient. Now that I'm thinking about it, since I have this as a variable, if s is equal to char state dot use or s is equal to char state dot unuse. This might be slightly more efficient. So we're just going to say, okay, if we are usable or unusable, so there's 4 party states. That's the wrong one. Char state right here. There's 4, technically 5 if you count online, but we'll only look at the offline stuff right now. So you have locked, which the character has never been used, so don't even show them. Use, which is, or use, which they are currently in use. They are available to be used in the party. They show up in battles and whatnot. Unusable, meaning you have unlocked them, but they're not in the party. And then UE, which is a UE specific state. So you can use her in a pseudo party member in certain scenarios, like the tutorial basically is the only spot for this right now. But the restrictions are some things on why I'm more on the side of Godot, Blender, etc. because they're open sourced. Yeah, that is a totally valid reason, actually. I like that those engines are open source, like, or engines and tools, I guess I should say. I do appreciate that. The only issue that I have is, like, with Godot, I know there was, like, a big blow up, like, on how it was managed and like stuff like that on social media. It kind of already, it created a schism in the user base. I remember seeing that on X/Twitter, and like that's one downside of open source, is that if you get enough like people that want change to something, okay, now you have 2 products. You have 2 open source things, which, I mean, not that it's necessarily a bad thing. You have Godot, you have Redo, and then I think there was like one more that tried to spin off of that, but I don't know if it actually continued. Redo is the only one that I have heard of that's actually still kind of going through, but I mean, I'm not sure if it really pertains to me at all. Like, I try and stay out of the online drama for whatever reason, but I do like to keep tabs on it so I know what's happening and I can talk about it on stream. But no, I do understand like the desire to have that freedom. One thing about Game Maker, and this is like, it's not really open source, but if you have the enterprise subscription, then you can request access to the source code for like very specific changes that you would need to make if you are releasing a really big title using Game Maker. I honestly considered like trying to get that just so I could like poke around the code and try and do things that you can't normally do under the hood. But it's like, you can also write DLLs and whatnot. And the few things that the main thing I want to do, thinking about it, is like, just, there's like a few bugs that I know of, and they're not even really bugs, it's just limitations of the engine that I would want changed, right? So it's like, why would I try and pay money to fix their problems, you know, right now at least? These things could be fixed with the new runtime anyways. Like, for example, if you look at the little, like right here under my mouse, this is actually the game display window right now. The game's running. So as I write code, it can actually live update through a plugin that I have for Game Maker. But if I like actually click and drag the window, notice how that pattern stopped moving. That's because whenever you are moving the window of the game, it does not update any draw calls. So now I've clicked off and the background's moving again. That bugs me because I know it can cause issues because I use delta timing. Because I can click and hold that window, and now it's thinking, oh, okay, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10 seconds between frames. So it's going to say, okay, well, the time between the last frame and the next frame is 10 seconds. We need to make everything account for that. No, we don't. No, we don't. And now, like, obviously I'm not totally stupid. I do clamp my delta values. But I do have one, like I have 3 different delta values. One that is also affected by game speed. One that isn't affected by game speed because, like, right now, you can't really see it there, but, like, with this menu open, you can kind of see how all the characters are moving slower. There's, like, some time dilation effects that I have, right? So there's a delta value that takes that into account and slows down when this is active, right? There's a delta value that ignores slowdowns, and there's a delta value that can ignore the clamping, too. So, essentially there, it's just like, there's the off chance that there are some things that could be, like, they could get screwy if that happens. But then it's like, at the same time, it's like, okay, people are looking for it at that point. I just don't want anything game-breaking to happen, like, oh, if you do this, then you can clip through a wall and skip half the game or something like that, so... I've seen about getting source code of Unreal, GameMaker, and Godot, but never listened about Unity. I mean, I don't know about, like, Unity had that big blow up where, like, they were changing the licensing and all that a while back, and I think that actually, that kind of screwed that company over real bad, I think, honestly. I don't think that was good for them. Because now, whenever I think of Unity, the 2 things that first come to mind are Yandere Simulator and the big, like, licensing debacle that they did, which are 2 very not good. Oh, and third, like, mobile apps that were thrown together in, like, 3 days to farm ads and stuff like that. That's, like, unfortunately, that's, like, the primary thing I think of with Unity, and it's not a good look. Like... And I don't know if that's necessarily me being ignorant to games made in Unity, but I can't think of a game made in Unity off the top of my head that is not, like, slop? Like, I could be totally wrong. I could be totally wrong. And, like, they just... What tips me off to Unity usually is, like, the splash screen from the free version, where it's, like, made with Unity. And everything. That's usually what tips me off to it. Or either that or someone uses like the default Unity lighting, which, you know, if you know, you know, right? So... I'm an Unreal and Godot person. I gotcha. Now, I do... One gripe I have with Unreal Engine is just how big the projects are. There's, like, a lot of stuff that has to go into it. Like, it was really strange seeing a demo for a game in Unreal weighing, like, over a gigabyte. And it had, like, fractions. Like, a tiny fraction of the amount of content that Angels and Demons had at the time, and Angels and Demons at the time only weighed about 100 megabytes. Like, it does weigh a little bit more now, and that's because there's just a lot of audio files in there. There's just, like, a lot of audio files in Angels and Demons, mostly music, and I want it to be in high quality because, you know, rhythm game. If I'm not, you know, if you got a rhythm game and you're, like, dropping stuff in low quality, like, that's... I feel like that's a little bit troll. So... Sorry, I had to get a sip of my drink. Like, last I checked, it weighs around 500 megabytes, but also consider that there's, like... Maybe... There's over 60 songs? 60 background music tracks, not counting sound effects. There's... some, like, Like 50% of the project is graphics and sprites and stuff like that. So it's a mainly 3D focused engine now. Like the devs suck for optimizing the games and they screw up now. Yeah, real honestly. I know it's mainly 3D focused. I have seen like, I think that those like HD 2D games like Octopath Traveler and whatnot, I think those are made in Unreal. And I do kind of like that look. I'll be honest. I do kind of like it. I thought about like at one point migrating over to a 3D engine to kind of recreate that. But I was like, I don't think I want to. I think I still want to lean in towards like the, what if the Nintendo DS was really powerful kind of look. Just love how Epic Games work for the community. Yeah, they're decent for that. I'll give them that. I know that they were reaching out to devs, like indie devs, and saying like, hey, we'll sign an exclusivity deal with you. You release your game on the Epic Games Store for the first so many months and we'll pay you this much, right? We will give you this much up front and you'll get to take this much of all your sales too. And I mean, like for indies, like shoot, yeah, like would I do that? I don't necessarily know. Like I guess it would depend on I think that would depend on how big the following for Angels and Demons is at that point. Like if I got up to launch at that point, like because if there's like a lot of people, I'd probably say like, nah, I think I'm just gonna have to stick with Steam. But otherwise it's like, okay, well, why not? Like that's cash in my pocket I can use to advertise and say like, hey, Epic Game Store right now, released on Steam and, you know, however long. So I don't even need to put that check there. Let's do that. So don't need to draw stats, but I do need to draw an icon. So this is the shadow. Let's see. You must post educational content a game maker, like explaining concepts and shorts with giving examples of your game. It would definitely help you make a good base audience. It's actually really funny you say that. I have a few scripts talking about things that I've just not seen tutorials for. I'm like, it's an open secret, but mostly like to people who have been on streams and like are in the Discord server. My plan is I have, right now, I have 62 scripts, or maybe not 62, but let's see, actually 50. I have 50 scripts right now written out that I need to record and edit, and I have 12 clips from streams that are in this pool. I'm planning on making and editing like ahead of time a ton of content and uploading one short a day, like to YouTube, to TikTok, and to Instagram, and maybe even X too. I don't know how well that kind of content plays on X, but I mean, I could try and see, you know. Worst case scenario, I have 90 more posts on there, and maybe people like them, but some of those are like nitty-gritty game maker things that I've found out, like things that I would honestly say are in fact pro tips, like release mode and like force inline and stuff like that. Like just like inlining functions and everything like that. Just like some nitty gritty stuff that people who are really looking for optimization might not have known. I know I didn't, and I had to like find it myself. Just combing through the docs and like just happening across the function and being like, oh, that's interesting. What is that? And then finding out, oh, wow, this is going to be great for me. Because I do, in fact, utilize some force inline functions, which, I mean, basically it says like, hey, look at this function and say, hey, anytime this function's called, instead of looking in the, like going through and finding where the function is in memory and executing the code based on that and then sending it back, let's just replace the function with the code in place, right? And like even here, there's like a double optimization with this like text localization. So if the game isn't compiled, like it isn't now, right? It's in virtual machine mode. It will look for a dialogue key or a text key. It'll say like, hey, we're looking for this. If it's not found, then we add it to a map that says like, hey, we're missing this key here. And I can like dump this out later and then we'll send a failsafe. Otherwise, we just drop out and say like, okay, take like the string, because this will have been a string if it's not undefined, and replace like any instance of this, like brackets 0 with the player's name for formatting. And we get that. Otherwise, if the code is compiled, we don't do all these checks because we shouldn't need to, right? We say, okay, the string of text here is the dialogue key. And if it's undefined, then this variable is now the dialogue key for unknown text. Pass it into the function and return it. So, and I could probably make this even like better, I think. I could probably do this. Does this work inside of the string? Oh, that's like some deep code right there. Just single line it, but it's harder to read. I might do that. I would literally, to see if that's even worthwhile, to see if that's even worth doing there, I would have to look at how the game compiles it down, like just verbose output and see. And like, is it even worth it? No, probably not. It's like such a micro optimization. It would be literal nanoseconds, right? Like, it would be so little, like, that it wouldn't matter. It genuinely wouldn't matter the time save, because it's not like I'm calling this function on every single frame of the game. I'm not. I bake them in advance, right? Will it make initializations faster? Barely, but like, now I'm thinking about it. You know what? Let's just throw it in there. We might not even need the string check. Like, well, no. I'll leave it as is. Maybe, I'm going to comment this. Maybe make this single line for optimization in the future? Question mark. If Game Maker has that kind of, oh my gosh, I can't type, kind of sauce. Of sauce. There we go. Troll shrug. Yeah, that's what's up. Anyways, that's a side tangent, but yes, I am planning on like doing some educational type Game Maker shorts on like different things. I don't want to like regurgitate what's already been made a bunch, like oh, here's how hitboxes work and here's how this and that works, but I do want to find a way to tie them into angels and demons a little bit when I do make them. So, like, if I want to talk about slopes, right? If I wanted to talk about slopes in the game, you know, like they work, right? You can kind of see that they just work like normal slopes. You walk up them. Unless you're going really fast, then you fly off of them. If you're familiar with Team Fortress 2 and like trimping as like Demo Man or any other like really fast moving class, you know, where you kind of like strafe into a slope and you go flying off. That's the inspiration for this, right? And I don't think many, if any games do this kind of like, okay, if like the functionality of slopes change based on your speed, right? I don't know. I haven't seen it. I think it's neat. I think it's cool. I like it. This is something I could tie into a short, right? Like, oh, well, you hit a slope going at incredibly high speeds and you fly with it or something like that. Or, like, you might notice, like, the crosshair that shows up. Well, that's because our protagonist here has, like, a scarf that works as a grappling hook. Like, let me go to a better area for that, maybe. Maybe not this one. Yeah, this will work. Maybe not that room. Well. Oh, don't kill me. Oh, don't crash the game. Dude! Ain't no way. Well, game crashed. LOL. I forget. Enemies are broken right now. The code guy. Oh, one. What's up? Welcome in. How's it going? Add motion blur like your game seems to be a speedrun game. Well, it can be. The way I'm designing it is that, essentially, it could be a speed game, but you don't have to play super fast in it. You do not have to, schmoove with that, necessarily. You don't have to do the schmovement. Exploring game dev using C++ and Raylib. What should I do as a newbie? So, I am not too familiar with C++ or Raylib, unfortunately. Most of my stuff is, like, I do all of my programming through GameMaker, which is its own, like, in-house language called GML, and it's pretty similar to, like, C and JavaScript, I think is what they say on the thing. Though I would definitely recommend, like, getting the docs for both C++ and Raylib and having those on hand. Maybe look up a couple of YouTube tutorials and follow a, like, just follow a path for, like, setting up a basic project or a basic game using those two things. And don't be afraid to ask questions to people who seem like they know what they're doing. Yeah, I'm using GML and GameMaker for all of my stuff, so it's technically it's probably not better than C++ and Raylib, if I'm being honest. Like, it's a bit slower. So, but just as a general thing, like, just try and, like, look up a few things. Like, I need something that has proper support in tutorials, but on Raylib, I don't see much tutorial. Well, there's always, let's see, Raylib. Let me familiarize myself with Raylib real quick. Programming library to enjoy video games programming. No fancy interface, no visual helpers, no GUI tools or editors, just coding in pure Spartan programmer's way. So this seems like it's pretty detailed, I think. Let's see. There is a cheat sheet on their website. So let me ask you this: is this your first type of like, game dev project? Also, new sub. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Well, you may want to look into starting with something easier to familiarize yourself with, like, programming concepts in general. Like, now I'm not going to say, like, avoid C++ out of the gate, because it's like, while it is more difficult compared to other languages, like, at the end of the day, they'll all be relatively close to being the same, I guess. Though, that being said, C++ is pretty difficult to learn. Like, I don't know it. I've looked into it and I can't exactly wrap my head around it. You know, JS, I'm a web dev guy exploring game dev. Now, hey, I can actually suggest GameMaker a little bit. They do, so there's actually a export for, like, HTML5 and Opera GX, and the language is already, like, kind of similar to JavaScript. Yeah, GameMaker has their own, like, in-house language, GML, and it will, in the new runtime they're developing, it's supposed to have native JavaScript support, I believe. So, and GameMaker's free. You don't have to pay anything for it until you go to release a game. And then it's like, I think it's just $100 for the license to do anything commercial, but, I would definitely recommend checking it out. And, Like, I can speak on, like, some Game Maker tutorials. I'd suggest, let's see. Sean Spalding for getting started. I know that there's a lot of good Sean Spalding tutorials, like, just from, like, a nothing project all the way up to, like, a fully functioning, like, platformer shooter, and there's one for an RPG, I believe. And stuff like that. Then, let's see. There's also Dragonite spam for the nitty-gritty on things. Like, he goes into some of the deeper tech of Game Maker. Can you show your game? I want to see yours as a newbie. Yeah, let me launch it real quick. I'll kind of walk through the prologue while I talk about these things, but let me switch around my sources there so it shows up in full screen. There we go. And then I'll pause the stream music so we have game audio. So, Angels and Demons is a platformer RPG rhythm game. I've been developing it for like, you know, technically like 5 years, but I also started like from total scratch. I did not know like any programming stuff. Basically, I had just started my second semester of college, so this was early 2020, I guess, when I started. So basically, I was teaching myself from scratch. I decided I'm going to commit to it. If I ever want to do it, I actually need to start committing. So I bought a Game Maker license at the time, back when it was Game Maker Studio and it was still paid. Bought that, and I paid $13 for a tutorial on Udemy for how to make a platformer. And it's like, did I have to do that? No, not really. But the thing about me is like, having a little bit of monetary investment is like always good for me, because it's like, okay, I spent money on it, now I have to do it. So, do you work as a game dev? I want to work as a game dev. I would like for, you know, this game and streaming it to be like my full-time thing, but unfortunately I do not. However, if you want to help realize that dream, make sure you smash that subscribe button and follow over on Twitch. We're trying to hit affiliate right now. We need to average 3 viewers for 1 more stream to be able to apply. So, I mean, you know, make sure to smash that follow button over there too, and stay tuned. Don't use Twitch. Nah, respectable. I don't typically use Twitch actually, but there's a few people I like to go on there and watch from time to time. So, but Angels and Demons, platformer RPG rhythm game. It follows the story so far, as we've seen here, is you're just kind of like a church-going guy, stayed behind to help tidy up after a service, and now you're walking home. Unfortunately for you, there's like some weird noise happening right now, and you're about to get jumped by this strange creature. Maybe. And then there's just a lot of stuff happening right now. Strange creature shows up, strange thing falls from the sky and knocks you off a cliff. I mean, what can you really do? So, what was my first game? This one, technically. Like, I haven't released any games yet. Like, you could count demos for Angels and Demons as being released games, but, I have not actually released and sold a game commercially yet. Like I said, I've started with this project, teaching myself from scratch, and this is just where the project's come over the course of about 5-ish years now. But, you know, again, like I said, I was learning everything from scratch, so you have to give me a little bit of a leeway there. You know, didn't know programming, didn't know how to do music, sound design, didn't really know how to write a story or anything like that, or necessarily do graphics. So all of this stuff you see here is created by me, and it's all self-taught, including like the Twitch overlay, like the stream overlay and everything. The VTuber, you know, this guy down here, that's custom. It's themed around the way the game looks. All the animations and stuff is handled by me as well. So, did you do a Kickstarter or something? I have not. I've considered launching a Patreon. I've been planning that out for a little while now. I do plan on launching it when I have a alpha build of Angels and Demons ready again, like with all these new reworks that I've been doing, because like going from demo 4 to this demo 5, it's like there's a lot of changes. And basically the idea that I have is I'm going to offer development builds to Patreon subscribers and see like, okay, well, get some early testing in. If people want to help support the game, then they get to experience stuff ahead of time a little bit up to a certain period, because the game is story based. So there's kind of some things that I can't show off like until the game is done, right? So like development builds would only go up to about chapter 6 out of 8. 9 if you count post-game stuff, but we won't really count that. So 8 chapters. Good, looks cool. Hey, I appreciate it. Have you ever tried Sordigo? I have not. I have not, actually. I don't... Despite being a game developer, I don't actually play many games anymore. So... But, again, platformer, RPG, rhythm game, and now we're in the RPG part of it. So, the rhythm game part just kind of bleeds into everything. So, like... it's a turn-based battle system, very similar to Mario and Luigi or Paper Mario, except a good chunk of your attacks are actually synced to music. So like that jump there, you kind of heard the metronome come in, it syncs up with the background music, and you have to press the jump button like to the beat, basically. And that's just for you attacking. The real meat and potatoes comes from when the enemies start to attack, because they like to use these things called attack styles. So, in this tutorial fight, there's 3 different ones that we'll see. The first one being defend, and we get to either melee attack or jump to avoid attacks. And for this one, we gotta jump to kind of knock him back. So, there's 3 of those. We'll see. I'll get through these real quick to get to the next one. And then I can also use a melee attack as well. Why is my face green? So actually, the light from whatever's in the stream viewport there will reflect onto my face. So if I go out of full screen here, you can kind of see that like now the reflection has changed color. It's based on whatever's on screen, essentially. So the next attack style that shows off is a dodge attack style. We can move left, right, up, or just stay in the center. And we'll stay in that position for about 1 second before we snap back to neutral. And this one's like all avoiding. You don't really get much in terms of counter-attacking other than the enemy has to hurt themselves. So, and then we'll go one more here. The last attack style that's shown off in the tutorial is the freestyle attack style. And this one sends you into an arena, and you get to control just like you do in the overworld platformer style, and basically just get to make use of any of your abilities to fight off an enemy. So, like in this one, we just run into him really quick. It's a tutorial fight. I know too much about my game to let it really run for a while, but that attack only lasts for maybe 4 seconds, so you have to be relatively quick for it. But essentially, you get to control just like you do outside of battles, and it's pretty cool. I think it's one of like the most unique things about the game. And then of course you have like XP and whatnot. 6 different stats: HP for health, AP for like special attacks. You get attack and defense, speed, and Moxie. Moxie is your luck stat, and that one affects critical hits and everything like that. So it's pretty neat. Yo, Salty Lightning, welcome in. How's it going? So, we're out of the tutorial fight now, and these guys run off, causing more trouble, but we're at the top of their hit list now, so our guardian angel, Yui, she gets to kind of hang around with us a little bit longer, since that's kind of her job, is to keep us safe. So, our next task is to head back to the church, because that's probably the safest place for us to be. But it's at this point that the game is like, it gets a little bit more broken, as you can see right now, because I'm in the process of redoing a bunch of things. Like, oh, why is this flower floating here? It's not supposed to, but... And then, you know, interacting with this door will crash the game right now, because it's like, okay, let's make this actually a rhythm game again. Like, let's really make it a rhythm game, but... I'm in the process of reworking that, so we can't do that, but... I'll actually... Just to show it off, I'll hop over to demo 4 really quick where it does work, and we can show that off real quick. Let me send here, put it there, just like that. So pretty good. How about you, Mr. Noid? I am doing pretty great, actually. Oh, this didn't resize, right? Did it? Okay, awesome. Thank you, OBS. Very cool. We'll just... Yeah, that's good enough. Let me get into demo 4, and you'll notice immediately that it looks very, very different, but it is a rhythm game. It does feature a fully functional like vertical scroll rhythm game, and I like to think that I'm pretty good at these, but there's 4 different difficulties, like for people who are like seasoned veterans of this type of genre, and for those who have probably never touched one a day in their life. So don't let this sway you away from the game. They're not all like this. It's only like this if you want it to be. And this also becomes an attack style as well, so you can at some point use the rhythm game to protect yourself in battle. You can also use it as an attack in battle at one point too. So everything kind of like links together in some interesting ways that I think people will really enjoy. But yeah, so essentially that's the overview. That's the overview of everything there. Oh, wrong scene. Hide that one. The general overview of Angels and Demons, if you will. So hope that kind of gets the point across. If you're interested in checking it out, there's a there's a demo out. There's a public demo 4, link in description, but I can also like drop it here in all chats. You can get to the latest one by visiting journoid.net. It will redirect you to the game's itch.io page. I don't think that one sent in YouTube chat, did it? Nope, it did not. Let me drop it over there. And there we go. Drop them in all the YouTube chats. And yeah, that's basically the overview of the game there. So kind of sidetracked a little bit, but I will never I don't think I'll ever pass up an opportunity to yap about my game. So I mean, I did say QnA in the stream, so in the stream title, in the overview thing there, so works for me. But I mean, gotta actually develop the game at some time too. So let me actually relaunch demo 5, and I need to tweak the viewport again. Let's fix that up proper. I think that's the right one. We'll see if it flip-flops. It's like 3 a.m. here, and at 10 a.m. is your exam of science. I'm an insomniac. Oh, I'm so sorry, bro. I'm so sorry, bro. At least I can provide you some entertainment in the meantime. So, hopefully you do well on that. Best of luck. There we go. Uh-oh, wait, we're crashing now. Awesome. Thanks for showing up in your feed. Hey, algorithm can do its thing sometimes, like, so hopefully it is hopefully it's working good. Just make it white for start. We just need that. We don't need this. What's my favorite enemy I've thought of? That's a great question. Do you mean in like let me refine this question for you. Do you mean like enemy I'm like just like how did I come up with this one? Like or just the enemy that I like the most? Like just in general. Which enemy do I like the most? Okay, so that one, it's actually kind of difficult. I think... I mean, in terms of, like, the one that I like to fight against the most, I guess. So, like, the one that immediately came to mind when you asked the question was Impui, so I had to go with that one. But I'll answer the other question that I asked myself, essentially. Which one am I, like, most proud of coming up with? Definitely Pepperoni. Because that's like a triple pun. What type of fights will you like to have in the game? So, the majority of them are going to be, like the standard turn-based stuff. But there are a few that will be, like, totally music synced. And there's some that will take place entirely in the overworld. Though, less of those since it's primarily an RPG there, like for the battles. But, once you actually hit a certain level in game, like certain enemies will just, you won't trigger a turn-based battle with them. You'll actually just be able to fight them in the overworld. So that way it's like you're not wasting your time with like cannon fodder enemies, because who likes to do that? Not very many people. But yes, my goat. Pepperoni is goat status. Literally one of my, like, that's probably one of the favorite ones I've come up with. Like, just in terms of, like, the raw pun that goes through with it. What are we missing? Oh, it's P menu X. Whoops. It needs to be menu X. That's what the issue is. I love dealing with game crashes all the time. So, once the game launches again without crashing and I can like live code edit, we're gonna get back into this GUI development. I kind of like don't like doing menus all the time, like, and I got a lot of menus I have to do. I still have to do shop menus. I have to do oh, hello Hector. He just shows up there. That's awesome. So let's see. We need a Y offset. We'll make this 0 and then so this is going to go through this array. Going to go through this length. So we actually need to change this to this. We need to look for the characters. We'll say, I'll just shorthand this because I'll use it a lot. We need to look for that. We need to look for that. And then we'll say... Oh, this isn't going to space right, I don't think. Exams, I will take a 2-month break. If you A your exams, you'll take a 2-month break from mainstream projects and try to build a website in Godot. Website in Godot sounds interesting, actually. I kind of forget that, like, most game dev engines just can do things like that. And, like, this is coming from the guy who's written a server in Game Maker and uses a tool called Sammy to handle stream-related things that's also built in Game Maker, apparently. we'll do that. We need to set this like that. Let's see here. Well, this doesn't look correct. What are my editing tools? So, obviously there's Game Maker for the programming. I use Asaprite for all of my graphics, or 99% of them at least. Occasionally I use Paint.net. For music and sound effects, I use FL Studio and occasionally Audacity. And then for, like, YouTube thumbnails and stuff like that, I use a combination of Krita and Paint.net. All very good tools that I would definitely recommend. Especially Asaprite. Like, it's a paid tool, but it's also open source, so if you would rather pay with your time, you can compile it from source. And I definitely mention that to people if they're like, oh, I want Asaprite, but I don't have the money for it. Okay, well, you can pay with your time. Teach yourself to compile it from source. You'll learn a few things from it. And it'd be really cool. You get Asaprite, you also learn how open source software works to, like, a degree that you might not ever figure out. Why is this not doing? We should see more characters there and more of these. Oh, because they also need this Y off. And UI plus this. Okay, so we shouldn't be starting at UI. That's not correct. Then the color is not right either. Oh, you know what? I bet... Hold on. I bet... Yeah, there's an issue with one of these, and I think it's like the main pause menu is like actually drawing over things, and it shouldn't be. Gonna make you some tacos. If you're still streaming when I get back, I will hop on. Bet. I got you. Enjoy tacos. Let's see. Pause menu. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I think it's this. Surely it's not something else. I'm gonna have to like sift through and find these things. And you don't have a live call in here, so I gotta relaunch the game. Not in that state. I don't think we're in this one either. So... Let's see here. Does that need to be commented? Let's check some things out here. Turn live result. See how that looks here. I'll go ahead and Oh, because it doesn't... It's always putting this here. Okay. What state do we go to? When we select a menu. Can I set this to just Tom's no menu? Is this like a sneaky optimization? Does that work? Maybe the reverse? Wow. Yeah, I kind of know what I'm doing sometimes. I hit the wrong menu. I hit a broken menu and the game is crashing now. Awesome. You love to see it. Uh-oh. I think Sammy just crashed. Oh no. That's not good. Well, that's a new one. Hold on, are we still working? Can I change emotions? Oh no, I can't. I gotta relaunch it. Wonderful. About to see everything go through a first run sequence where it cycles through a bunch of animations. Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Thanks, Sammy. Very cool. Okay, I don't know when it crashed or if it just crashed because I clicked into it and I just see an error message. So that's awesome. Okay, cool. He's back into the game. And yeah, it seems to actually work properly with doing that. So that's cool. I'll leave it as is. Don't have to mess with that. And now we have proper drawing there. But I'm not quite sure. Oh, I am quite sure. Never mind. I see the issue. There we go. We were incrementing that too soon. Okay. So now that should work properly. Yep. So there's our display. We can move these back. Maybe to about there. Move them out. Let's say I want to decrease the space between them. I think. Nah, wait, does 96 look better? About 128. Oh, that's too much. 98. 72. I mean, I like how 72 looks. 72 looks nice down there, but it also kinda... It feels cramped a little bit, like there's space down there for a reason or something. Oh, 112? Close, but not quite. 108? 108 feels like almost perfectly distributed, actually. I kind of like that one. 108 might actually be the play. Go with that. And then we'll say if cy is equal to I, draw sprite text. You just realized it elongates according to voice pitch. Yep. The louder I get, the more he stretches. say this at 32, y of y off plus 48. 1, 1, 0, white, 1. And there we have a cursor. I want to actually make it come a little closer and go down by about 4 pixels. Maybe even closer. Let's do 40. $42? $48? Nah. 44. There we go. Now we got a cursor. We can snap between them all. We can kind of strobe a little bit there. Check that out. Haha. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. There's our cursor. We don't need it to be below that. Let's go ahead and test the thing. Let's say... We're going to say that main character is not locked. Yui is not locked. Actually, no. Yui is locked, but no one else is. And she's grayed out. Good. Okay. What if these guys are locked? Okay. What if everyone's locked? And then if no one's locked? Boom. Works just fine. Okay. I like it. I like it. So... next up, in here, we're going to, if we press something, we need to do audio, play, sound, S&D menu up. And let's put the same thing in here and say menu down. Now we have a sound effect. That's cool. I like. Now, if we are on whatever character, this is where we're going to do the drawing for, the stuff, like the stats. Will you add references to some of your favorite games in it, like Easter eggs? I've actually already done that, and I can show that off real quick, maybe. Let me go to menu items. Actually, it might just be easier to do this in code. Let me just open up the item list here. So, for example, Yui has a pair of wings as an equipable called the super wings, and the actual ID is called Tippy, but it's a reference to Tippy from Super Paper Mario, who looks like a butterfly, like exactly like this. So the description of this item says that the wings came from a digital butterfly enthusiast site or something like that, something similar, which is a reference to Super Paper Mario again, where a character in that game named Francis orders a replica or makes a replica of Tippy in the post game called Tiptron, and it's like robotic and does the same thing. There's a few others like that, like let's see, which sprite is it? Yeah, so these two equipables, the light suit and the light tie, these are references to Death Note. I based it off of like the one like consistent kind of I guess you'd call it like box art, like promo art, that's the word. Promo art for Light Yagami, and the description for one of them says something like, oh, it has some potato chip crumbs on it, in a reference to the scene where he's like, I take a potato chip and I eat it. And then there's anime t-shirt. So you can't really tell with the sprite, like it's low quality. This one's also like old. I'll redo it eventually when I get around to redoing all the graphics and stuff. But this one says, oh, it's a t-shirt or a shirt, I guess, with a graphic design of anime characters. They all look like heroes or something like that. And that's like a very subtle reference to the fact that I own a t-shirt like this that has My Hero Academia characters on it. So there's a lot of little Easter eggs for the people who want to go and look for them, or that might catch the reference or something like that. So and then there will be a few that are like video game specific, of course. I know I have some in here, but I can't think of them off the top of my head immediately, like which ones I've done, but the whole thing is kind of like a homage to like some of my favorite games, so you could say it's an Easter egg in that way. But anyhow, now, you know, I could probably single pane this now, I think, and we'll do this stuff here. So now we just need to draw out the stats. So, yeah, I don't need these things anymore. Don't need that, don't need that. I don't think I'll ever need that anymore. So, we'll say... go through this, plus plus, and then we're gonna say... I don't necessarily think we need to use, like, scribble text drawing here, so... and maybe we do. Maybe we do. Let's just do this. Left and top alignment for the font. And we'll draw this at... I guess I should actually open up the menu again. So... am I like in university? No, actually, I graduated college about... oh gosh, it's gonna be 5 years this year. Oh my goodness, because I graduated in 2021 with an associate's degree. Oh my goodness. Man. You guys are making me feel old. What the heck? It doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but ooh, the passage of time waits for no one, or something profound like that. Oh, whoops, we're breaking things. Why are we breaking things? Wait a second. What's our log saying? Does not... oh, because I typed the wrong variable name. Duh. There we go. So let's move this to about 48. Then, I don't know, like, I'm gonna have to stick this in a variable. Time is in 2 times speed for real. We'll have to add a thing in here. We'll need to go ahead and bake some strings. Region, string bakes. End region, and let's say string stats equals text. And then I need to grab that language file key earlier. This one. We'll need that. Strength. Is that what I put for that? Weak STRS. Weak and STRS. We'll do that. But we do need those. Those are now in there. That's cool. And we'll say we need string stats to go into that. You use that, and let's open the menu again now that it's reloaded. There we go. So we're doing this for localization reasons. Also need to add this in here. Let's do... you're in a job or something? You could say that. Like, Essentially, it's like family care stuff. I still live with my family, but I help them out like with basically whatever they need, and in return I get to work on video game. So it's cool. Like my parents are actually quite supportive of my game dev prospects. So it's neat. I like it. Rotate that. Let's do this and this, maybe. But also do five work? Oh, 5 does work. What about 4? 4 does not work. 4.5? 4.7? That'll be fun. Let's move this back more. We just draw it to 0? Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. Let's do one more of these. CO black. And move you up 2 pixels. No, wait, wrong one. We got a shadow. Make it less. Make it later. And then we'll add 2 to the... Wait, wrong one. Add 2 to the Y as well. Cast it down. There we go. Oh, nice. Hope it goes the same way in mine too. Hey, yeah, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be in the position that I'm in. Honestly, I really hope it all ends up working out. Hope it ends up working out for you as well. There's that menu. I kind of want to, like, increase this a little bit. Maybe not. Could probably cheat and just say draw bright text PR pixel 0 0 0 960 540. Well, global.game width, global.game height, just in case I ever do try and do something where you can use different resolutions. Just darken that background a smidge. Let's do 03. Yeah. Yo, Banquito. Hello. Hola. Olo. Hi. Olo. Megamind? Megamind. What's up? What's up? How's it going? Welcome in. With a Y. Favorite creator. Thanks. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Love the compliment. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome in. To recap for anyone joining in now, we are working on a player stat display menu, which is kind of... it's menus. I hate doing menus, but they have to be done, so... You know... Gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. I did remember how to pronounce it. Aren't you so proud? That ain't right. Wait a second. There we go. So we want to highlight whichever one we're on as it goes through. I do actually want to make that color stuff going through. I want the color blending to actually go a little bit slower. I'm gonna like knock this up a lot. 64? Maybe? That might be too much. Now it's broken. Why is it so broken? Wait a minute. Maybe that's too much for it. Is it too much for it? It is. Strange. I will need to actually, let's see. Now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, we can go like out 1. That's not good. We can go out of the range of it by 1, so why can we do that? That's why we can do that. Okay, now we can't. Cool, awesome. That's what we want. We don't want to be able to go 1 out of range. I'm kind of surprised it didn't crash, but that's probably GM Live's doing. So, shout outs to GM Live. Okay, so let's see. We need to draw out the stats now. We're drawing the name. Now we're going to, you know, I'm gonna be smart about this and say, I'm gonna do this, and then say, let's make an offset. And then this is just going to be the line spacing between the text. So probably 24 pixels. And then we'll say 24 pixels times wherever we're at. Plus 1. So draw. We'll do. This is scribble stats ij. And then we are going to do a line to the left and to the top. And we're going to draw at 144 and at Wawa plus offset. Boom. Perfect, right out of the gate. However, I do want to just go ahead and add plus equals 24. We're going to add that there. So I would like to tab the information out because I don't like how it's like aligned there. I kind of want it to all be aligned. So what I might do is this. Let me do this real quick. Just get these all in a position. And oh, I saved. Whoops. Cut that out, and then let's just do this. Make some strings for this. Because these should be unchanging. These don't need to ever be localized. For the record, because like maybe Moxie at best, but like also LOL. Let's do 248 for this. And we'll duplicate this. 144 stat nm J. Is that what I named it? Stat nm, yes. And I will have to destroy the menu first. Save it, recreate it, go back. And there's no money here. We are borked. Okay, argument 0 is not an array. What do you mean? Line 51. Oh, because that's the wrong name. There we go. And that looks a lot better. Because now it's all evenly spaced. So if I actually, I'm going to level up 1,000,000 times real quick here to really test out how it looks. Okay, so we get commas. We get commas added in. That's good. We're updating based on everyone's stats and their name. There's that. And I'm realizing I'm going to have like a metric ton of extra space doing it like this. So So now what do we do? Now what's the play? I think... Okay, so... The text has a shadow in it, pre-baked, which is good. A pre-baked shadow. I think what I should do is I'm actually going to dupe this stuff here and redo some things. So let's put one of these out here at about 144 pixels. Actually, you need to be behind. You need to be behind this stuff. Maybe not so rotated and not so wide. And not so high up either. Menu's looking empty. Yeah, I know. I gotta put some sauce in it promptly. Compared to the menu that I showed on stream earlier, it's looking like... It's looking kind of strange, honestly. We'll do 4 for that, maybe. And we can move it up. Move it up and move it... Is that good? 200 might actually be the sweet spot there. I kind of like that. Like where it's that little spot there. And there is... Now, we do need to add a spot for strengths and a spot for weaknesses. So that's what I'll do here. Let's go ahead and say, okay, well, actually, I don't want this one to be bound by the X. We'll have this one come in from the top when we first activate this menu. So... And there, we'll cast a shadow and make it at 0.5. There's our shadow. I should actually probably put all the shadows together. That's what I'm going to do here. Do all the shadows together. Nope, never mind. Change my mind immediately because I don't like that it doesn't cast the shadow there. This one, the one that holds the player icon should cast the shadow onto the thing behind it. I actually... is that viewport there on stream a good enough size, or should I increase it a little bit? Because I'm looking at it, like, in my viewport, and it kind of looks a little small. Because, like, I know I have some extra screen real estate. Maybe I will just resize it. Let me go to the viewport and to the preview. Oh, it stretches strangely. Why? Why are you not, transforming properly? Why are you not, like... Huh? That's new. Oh my goodness. I could do like 480 by 270. 270? Well, that didn't do anything. Did it? What the freak? Huh. There we go. Figured it out. Just hold shift. Fun fact. Okay. That's probably a little bit better for viewing on stream, because it's not like I have like a bunch of code on the right side right now, so that'll work just fine, I think. Okay. So I'm gonna take these again. And we'll do another column here. But we probably only need it about that size. And we're going to have this one adjust based off of the Y coordinate and tell it, hey, be like right in the middle of the screen. But be also like under this one. Please and thanks. No, this one will actually have to be water. Got it. And go to about 520, 540, 560, 550. And we'll shrink it to about 3. What size is this one? Actually, we'll copy this one. So you're at 140. And you are 4 and 3. Oh, but you're rotated, so this should be like this. Yeah? Oh. Well. Does it need to be rotated? Perhaps it does. Let's do 3 and 4 and rotate this one too. Oh yeah, I like that better. Okay. I do in fact like that better. But it actually doesn't need to be that wide, so we'll do that, I think, but we need to move it a smidge more. Yeah. Okay. And then just oh. There we go. Add 2 there, add 2 there. There's our shadow. And that's where we'll draw strengths. We'll dupe this again, and then we'll move this up. What's the difference there? About 360 pixels, so I don't know if I can move it that far, but that'd be 940, right? No. 20. Just move it down just a smidge until it looks cool. See, it's not even. That's not even. That's not an even division for it. Let's move this back a few pixels. This back a few pixels. I guess we could move this stuff back a few pixels. Which means we can move this one back a few pixels. Okay. I think that might be good. Looks a bit evenly distributed now. And then go through the stats. We'll do another loop here. Reset J, repeat array length, strengths of A. J++ at the end. And let's just say, let's see. Okay, what is the strengths? Oh, this is like, is it not an array? Are we sure? Hold up. Because strengths and weaknesses. This is, in fact, an array. Okay. Hold on. Does not have a variable. Oh, because it's not strengths. It's strength. Okay. There we go. Now it's nice again. You devoured all of your tacos. Awesome. You love to hear it. Those strengths. I should maybe like change that. Let's say this is like strong against. And then weak against. I feel like that's more descriptive. Let's reload the menu there. Oh, wait. Hold up. There we go. Okay, all moves in nicely. That's cool. I think the character icons actually come in with both, and I don't think we want them with both. I want them to come in only on the X. So let's look at that again. And this needs to be that direction. Okay. I'll figure it out later. It's not that big of a deal right now. I actually want the menu to function properly. We'll have to actually bake in like the effect names or the typing names because I don't think I've got those localized just yet. I guess we'll do that. Would that be a pause menu thing? Hold up. Let me look here. Where would that be? Special cases, I guess. Maybe. Maybe not a special case. Hello. Oh, great. Game Maker being amazing. Let's go. No, not item function. Secret stuff. Not gonna open that one. Those who know. I mean, I guess it would be menus, so we'll just throw it in here. And we'll say menu, effects, fire, fire. Menu, effects, water. Is water. I'm gonna have to like look all these up. Go ahead and split here. And some of these aren't even used, so they're kind of LOL. Menu, effects. I'm just gonna go through the list. Elect equals electric. Menu, effects. Ice is ice. Menu, effects. Poison. 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 Fucking sun. If I can spell. Poison. Menu. Effects. Angel. Angelic. Ooh, got you there. Menu. Effects. Demon. Demonic. Menu. Do I even add the unused ones? I don't think I do. Because, like, some of these were like troll. Like, literally, like, death, crit, forced, purified. These don't exist. And then water's up here for some reason. Undead's unused. This was like an unused broken one. So we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that and just like throw some things in there, I guess. I guess I need to go right back to that, don't I? Let's just copy that. Copy that. And text of this. And we need commas across the board. It's low-key such boring dev work today, but it is what it is. It must be done. So I'm thinking... Actually, what time is it? I haven't even checked my clock in a minute. It's 5:30. Huh. Well. You know... Let's get this done real quick. Let's get the strong against... thing to just actually, you know, what entails from this? What will entail from this? What else needs to be done? Because I'm thinking like if there's going to be a bit of things left to do, then I might wrap up stream now. Because I'm really not trying to stream for another like hour and a half. It's coming up on my dinner time and I need to eat. I'm skin and bones, chat. Let's see. We need to add strong against, weak against, and then there's all that open space down at the bottom. So I do actually have room for a character description. So I might actually work on those too. And that's something I'll have to like figure, okay, do I want it to be like talking about stats, talking about abilities, talking about different things like that. That might be the play. That might be what I do with all that extra space down there at the bottom, but I think that might be it for the day. I think that might be all I'm going to do, because I do actually have some side quests I need to take care of in my own humble abode. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think we'll wrap up stream for the day now. So thank you guys very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Be sure to listen to my dog barking. Hey, what are you barking at? This would be the true test if that plugin is actually filtering out audio when he starts barking again. But, I do think that's all I got for today. So thank you guys very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Be sure to check out the game itself, either in the description or via the buttons below on Twitch. If you're not already subscribed, what are you doing? Smash that subscribe button. Smash that follow button. Be sure to check out my other socials too, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. There will be some more posts coming to that sometime soon, so definitely make sure you're following on there too. And if you want to get notified about streams as soon as I go live or see teasers for the game that I don't share on stream or anywhere else, be sure to join the Discord. Or if you just want to hang out with the community too, you know, we do have some fun in there every once in a while. But that's about all I got. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.